Okay, so now that we know what an absolute value function is and what a quadratic function is, we're going to go through and we're going to study translations. Translations just moves a graph to the right, to the left, or up or down. So now we're going to go through, and it doesn't change the shape of the graph or the size. So a horizontal translation is going to move it horizontally. So that means that you're going to move to the left or you're going to move to the right. So if you're going to move to the, you're either going to move to the left or you're going to move to the right. And this variable that we use for that is always going to be the letter H. Okay. And so a horizontal shift, -3, means that you move the graph to the left 3. So we've got our original thing. So this says my horizontal shift of -3. So when I go through and I write my vertex, because remember your vertex, the normal one would be 0, 0. So here's your normal vertex at 0, 0. Now I'm going to move it to the left 3. So there's my vertex 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put a dot there because that's where I'm going to do that vertical shift. And then I'm going to have a 0. So now what happens if we go back and we're going to go back and look at this, I'm going to go 0, 0. Move to left 1, up 1, right 1. These are just nicely moving up 1, easy. So all I'm going to do to do my next little equation is now I'm going to say, oh, okay, so I started at my thing. I'm going to go to the right 1, up 1. Going to go to the right again from here. Going to go to the right 2, so I got to go up 2. Going to go to the right 3 from my vertex point. So I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to move to the left of my vertex. So move to left 1, up 1. Move to the left 2, up 2. Move to left 3, up 3. 1, 2, 3. And now this is going to be my new graph. And all I did was slide it to the left 3 places. It's still exactly the same shape. All I did was I picked up and moved it over. And so now the thing is I'm going to ask you on all of these, what is that domain? Well, notice I put arrows there. So remember, domain deals with your x values. So my x values are continuing. So this is going to be my domain. So in this case, my domain is going to be all real numbers. Okay, and then my range is different. So my range deals with my y values. And if you look, I started at my vertex point and I'm just going to go up. So my y just is on my y-axis. My lowest point on my y is 0. So this means that my range is going to be y is greater than or equal to 0. And the important part is, notice that this number right here for your range happens to be the same right there. So that happens to be the same as the y value of your vertex point. And you'll see the difference in a second. So again, same thing on this one. This time I'm going to move my quadratic function. So I'm going to find my vertex. Your vertex is still exactly the same. I'm moving it over 3. 1, 2, 3 to the left. So -3, 0. That's my vertex. And now when I moved over 1, I'm going to go up 1. I move over 1 to the left and I go up 1. So now when I move over 2, because this is a quadratic, and remember that when we moved over 2 from your vertex point, because 2 times 2 is 4, so when over 2, I went up 4 and I went up 4. So from my vertex point, I'm going to go over 1, 2, and then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. From my vertex point, 1, 2, and then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be my new point. So then we're going to do this again, and I'm going to move over 3. So when I move over 3, So 3 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to move up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to do it over here from my vertex point. 1, 2, 3. And now I got to move up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now then I get my general shape. So my shape is going to be this nice U. And it would continue with that pattern. So my domain again is going to be, this is all of your x values. So in this case, this is your domain. And so this would just be all reals. And I don't want to put numbers, so I'm just going to put all reals. And then your range, okay, so we look at this. This is my smallest point, and then it continues to go up. So I'm going to put this on my y-axis. So my range goes from 0, y is going to be bigger than or equal to 0 because I'm going to continue to go up. The smallest point that it goes is at 0. So that's for horizontal translation. Now we're going to do vertical translation. So vertical translations means that you're going to move it up or down. So we're going to move this up or down. That's going to be you're either going to move it up or you're going to move it down, and we're going to use this letter K to represent that. So in this case, they're telling you that we're going to do a vertical translation of 1 unit. That means that I'm going to move it up 1 space because that's like a positive 1. So now when I go through my vertex, I don't have a horizontal translation, so my vertex is just 0, and now I'm moving it up 1. So I have 0, and now I'm moving it up 1. That's now going to be my minimum point. That's my vertex. So I'm going to move to the right 1, up 1. To the right 2, up 2, 1, 2. To the right 3, and then 1, 2, 3, up 3. And now I'm going to move to the left. So I'm going to move to the left 1, and I'm going to go to the left 1, and I'm going to go up 1. To the left 2, 1, 2, and now I'm going to go up 2. And we're always going back to your vertex, not the origin point, but from your vertex. I'm going to go to the right 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go up 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. And now I get this general shape. And so notice, again, all I did was move it. It's the same exact shape. All I did was slide it up 1. So again, my domain in this case is it continues on forever. So that domain is all reals. And then my range is, okay, it's on the y-axis. Here's my range. So on that y-axis, the lowest point that it goes is going to be, that lowest point there is y is going to be bigger than or equal than 1. And wait a second. That 1 right here matches up to that 1 in my vertex. That is not a surprise. That is what you should see. So your range and your vertex x value, those should kind of match up. So now we're going to do the quadratic. My vertex is 0, 1 because all I'm doing is moving it up. So I'm going to go for my original vertex and move it up 1. Then we move to the right 1, and this says I got to go up 1. To the right, to the left 1, and then I got to go move up 1. So then we go to the next point. So that next point means that I'm going to go to the left 2 from my vertex, my new vertex, 1, 2, and then I'm going to go up 4 because 2 times 2 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move to the left 2 from my vertex, and then I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. That's right, up 4. And I'm going to go to my next one. I'm going to move to the 3 from my vertex point. 1, 2, 3 to the right, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the left of my new vertex point. 1, 2, 3, and then up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to draw that graph. We're just going to kind of connect our points. And it just moved it up. So that domain, again, nothing has changed with the domain. It just keeps on moving. So this x values keeps on moving. So notice that I kind of put the arrows out. They keep going on forever and ever. So that domain is all reals. And then my range, the smallest point that I go on my range is I going to go down to +1, and then it going to keeps on going up. So notice that when I have these, I'm drawing those arrows. So it keeps on going up, but it stops at 1. So that means that y is greater than or equal to 1. Again, my y value of this vertex matches that y value of my domain kind of restriction. So now we've done just horizontal and translation. This next one, we're going to go through and we're going to do a double translation. So we're going to go through and we're going to do a double translation. So that means you're going to move it vertically and horizontally. Now, I tricked you here on example 1, and I said, okay, I'm moving it vertically first. So when I moved it vertically, this was my K. Remember, vertically is your K. And then horizontally is your y, is your x. So horizontally is your x value of your vertex point, so that's going to be your k. And remember that your vertex point is always h comma k. So in this case, my vertex, my h value is 1. And then vertically, my k value is going to be -2. So now when we go through and we graph this, I'm going to move to the right 1 and I'm going to move down 2. So that's my vertex point. In order to graph, I got to move over 1, up 1, over 1, up 2, or over 2, up 2, over 3, up 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to mimic it to the left. Same thing. Over 1, up 1, over 2, up 2, over 3, up 3, 1, 2, 3. So making these V graphs is not that hard. So then we just draw our arrows, and notice it's the same shape, except all I did was move it over to the right 1, and then I moved it down 2. So that range here hasn't changed. You know, it's still going out, have these arrows at the end. So that range is still all reals. And then my vertex on this one, okay, this is as low as it goes, and then it keeps on going. So we're going to put that on the y-axis. So now that y-axis, it keeps on going up, and it stops at 2. So then my y is greater than or equal to -2. Again, not a mistake that -2 and that -2 match up. So then the next one. Again, we're going to have the same vertex rule. Okay, we're going to have the same exact vertex rule. And we're going to get that you're going to move over 1 to the right, and then we're moving down 2. So then we go through and we graph it. So I go through and I graph to the right 1, and then down 2. So that's my vertex point. And then from that point, I'm going to move to the right 1 and up 1, because 1 times 1 is squared. 1 times 1 is 1. To the left 1 and up 1, because -1 times -1 is 1. To the left, 2. 1, 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to the right, to the left, 2. 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to, from my vertex point, I'm going to move to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 times 3 is 9. So I have to move up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3 to the left. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to sketch our graph. And remember, it makes that U shape. So there you go. So, and then we're going to look. Okay, we got to figure out our domain. Well, this keeps on going. So my X values have no restrictions. Okay, you're going to have no restrictions. So this is going to be all real numbers, all reals. And then my range, okay, so the lowest point that it goes down here, and then it goes all the way up. So let's put this on the y-axis to my lowest point. So it hits right there on that y-axis at negative 2. So this right here is negative 2 on your y-axis. So y is going to be greater than or equal to negative 2. And again, those things did not change. So this is for when you're going to do a single transformation. When you're just going to how to graph given your transformation rules.